All right. How's it going, everybody? Dodger here. I am here with commentary of round two of Grand Prix New Orleans. This is between elmikkino and Cajun. We are already a bit underway. Um, maybe we're on like turn two. I'd say yeah. So elmikkino is on a very interesting deck called Killing Ground, which is actually I think the deck to watch for this GP. I think this deck I haven't seen it in action yet, but it seems ludicrous, so I'm excited to see what it can do. Cajun is on a deck called Sleeping with the Jellyfish, which I think is a reference to polyp pools, but otherwise it's a dragon reanimator deck. So we're going to see elmikkino starting off with a turn 1 Madcap Mercenary, following it up with a turn 2 Kinjiru Assailant, and attacking for 5 on just turn 2. So definitely very, very strong early start, although Cajun was on the play. Cajun, meanwhile, has, I'd say, a decent start. A Dragon in the Grave already means that Draconic Divulging is castable this turn. Although Cajun's hand feels a little bit clunky for what they're facing down. I think, given this current board state, elmikkino is going to be attacking for, let's see, around 8 damage on the next turn. And, so Cajun's got this Withering Husk ready to block, but honestly, I'm a little concerned. I think if I were Cajun, I might have wanted to block the Madcap Mercenary on elmikkino's turn, because now I don't think we really want to attack with this Withering Husk. But maybe Cajun wants to set up Withering Husk attack, discard a Draconic Divulging, cast a Divulging for 2, or discard a Dragon, maybe, is probably better. Maybe Cajun just thinks it's better to try to race, which I can respect. Okay, so Cajun is actually getting a swamp here. Interesting. He's not going for a mountain. Actually, does Cajun's deck even run mountains? Whoops. Where is the tap? Oh, here it is. Cajun's deck does run mountains. Okay. So Cajun's going to cast Draconic Divulging for 3. Discarding a card along with having the Draconic Divulging means Cajun's now got 3 dragons in graveyard. What Cajun can do here now is attack with Withering Husk and then discard Draconic Divulging, cast Doormaid Dova for free, which I think is probably the best line here for Cajun. Okay, Cajun is just holding back the Withering Husk to block, hoping to block the Madcap Mercenary, take 4 damage, and then attempt to cast Doormaid Dova plus other spells next turn. So I think that's a respectable plan. Although, if you were going to block the Madcap Mercenary anyway and then not attack, you should have just blocked the Madcap Mercenary last turn. So I think that is a bit of a mistake on Cajun's part. Now, I'm very interested in what this Sinister Pact is going to be doing, because Sinister Pact is a way to get a bunch of Ironized Desperados. And maybe elmikkino is just going to jam this Sinister Pact right now. We'll have to see. Yeah, so here comes the Sinister Pact. I'm guessing elmikkino is going to pay 18 life. Yeah. So now elmikkino will exile the top 36 cards of their library, pick 1, and put it into their hand. And then, as well, all those cards, if they have any Ironized Desperados in them, the Ironized Desperado is just going to come out. So elmikkino picks up a Scorch, exiles another 35 cards, hits 2 Ironized Desperados. Holy crap. This deck I think is just absurd. Okay, so we're getting the Paracosm coming out. I think elmikkino is probably going to go for a Scorch on the blocker. Is this just lethal? Yep. Oof. Damn, killing on turn 3 like that is quite scary. I'm trying to think what is the best way to combat Killing Ground. I guess that might be a better discussion for another day. But let's talk about what the best way for Cajun is to to counter Killing Ground. I think Cajun's deck is probably operating on too slow of an axis, but if you look at something like Violent Collapse, definitely seems to be the best answer Cajun's going to get. Although the fact that a lot of these creatures come out with haste is definitely not great. I think that besides that, maybe you bring in negates to try to stop the. I already forgot the name of the card. The card that elmikkino just exiled 35 cards with. Besides that, like maybe bring in Winged Descent, and if you can turbo out dragon cards in your graveyard quickly enough, then like it doesn't matter. Maybe bring in Knight of Order, but I don't really like that too much either. This really feels like a very tough matchup for Cajun. Violent Collapse is probably the best way to get out of it. For elmikkino, I think obviously you're pretty well set up here. I think, I'm looking through here, I feel that Duress is probably a reasonable choice. Cajun's not really running artifacts, so these aren't really going to be bothering. Like, we're not really going to be bothering with this. I'm curious about what the Egg of Avarice is for. Perhaps for searching up Umbradu Goliaths. That's probably what it is. Honestly, you probably just run back most of this. Maybe bring in Duress. Okay, so we're back into the game. Cajun was on the play, had a turn 1 Flight of Deaths. elmikkino has a turn 1 Madcap Mercenary. So elmikkino does have another Sinister Pact in hand, as well as an Umbradu Goliath. I mean, this seems like we could be seeing a very similar tune. Although, importantly, Cajun does have the Violent Collapse. So I think Cajun might go for a Withering Husk here. But if Cajun goes for a Prying Inquiry, they'll actually be able to take the Umbradu Goliath or the Sinister Pact. Okay, so Cajun is going to find an island and cast Withering Husk. Okay. So you bin the Shimmering Dragon, draw a new card. Booyah booyah. Okay, Profane Emissary is a very good pick here because you can actually just drop it with Polyp Pools and you've got a 2-mana 4/4 lifelink. So that's going to help a lot. Okay, so it pings elmikkino for 1. Doesn't really matter. I think if you're Cajun, you need to block the Madcap Mercenary here this time. You are not going to get away with not blocking it here. Okay, so elmikkino did bring in the Duress. I think that's definitely a good call. So it'll be interesting to see what elmikkino goes for here. You could maybe just run out the Sinister Pact. Okay, so discarding Martial Maestro. Okay, so I think the line here is you discard Martial Maestro, you Duress Cajun, probably take the Violent Collapse out of the hand, and then run out the Umbradu Goliath. Okay. Yeah, and Cajun doesn't really have a great answer for the Goliath. I mean, you can attempt to hold back a Withering Husk to chump block it for a turn, and then you can try to gain some life with Profane Emissary, but besides that, this thing is just going to kill you real fast. So elmikkino is thinking over the options. Both of these feel like they could be reasonable targets. I think personally you take the Collapse. Yeah, elmikkino agrees. I just don't think that Prying Inquiry is something that Cajun can really cast without punishment at this point. Like 2 mana is quite a lot, especially when it's already losing you life. So now you got to think about is it worth it trading off here? Because okay, so Cajun is trading off here, which I think is the correct play in a vacuum, but that means it's going to leave Cajun without a chump blocker against the Umbradu Goliath. Okay, so that comes down here. 1 mana 9/9 seems good. Does Cajun actually have any answers to this in the deck? Oh, this is not the right deck. I think the best answer is probably Serena, but there isn't really I guess Winged Descent would work too. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. So Cajun drew a Winged Descent. Okay. And there is a dragon in graveyard. So that's actually pretty big. The problem is if Cajun taps out to cast Winged Descent here. Actually, it only costs 2 mana. Unfortunately, it doesn't cost 1. So you could cast Winged Descent here, right? Or you could cast Prying Inquiry, take that last card from Elmikkino's hand, and then take a hit of 13, right? But then you have your Wing Descent at the ready. You can play your Profane Emissary because the Cajun's just going to run out the Wing Descent right away. I think, given what we know about perfect hands, it's actually not a good play to go for that right now. But I think that from Cajun's point of view, I think it's a reasonable play. So now we're going to see the Sinister Pact come out probably. I'm guessing elmikkino is just going to pay 18 life again. We'll have to see. Okay, so elmikkino pays 17 life. I think the reason for that is Cajun has the ability to potentially conjure the Withering Husk, so you don't want to randomly die to that. Okay, so elmikkino is looking at the top 34 cards. I think the ability to find, what makes this so good is not only do you have the ability to find basically any card in your deck, but you also have the potential to, just randomly run out 2 or 3 3/2 hastes. Okay, so we're thinking. I mean, there's a lot of choices, right? It's not super obvious. So elmikkino actually goes for the High Prairies. How many Iron Eyes were hit? Just 2. Okay, so not as bad as the potential, but the Cajun's still going to take 6 here. But the Profane Emissary is actually going to go a long way towards defending Cajun here, and I'm not sure that there was a great. Okay, so elmikkino decided, okay, I just need to go all in. I need to run out the Scorn Figure right now. But now I actually kind of feel like Cajun's stabilized. I feel, okay, so yeah, the Desolate Dominion is kind of a whatever draw. But this Profane Emissary is going to go a long way towards blocking. I mean, elmikkino realistically cannot attack into this. And he needs to draw something that can remove this from the board. Oh, wait, wrong. I'm not sure what elmikkino has available to actually get rid of this. It doesn't die to Scorch. It doesn't die to any of these attackers. Maybe you need an Umbrado Goliath or Herald. That's the only thing that's going to save you. Bond of Battle is actually not a bad draw. You can Bond of Battle and attack past this. Cajun has to decide between taking 10 or taking 1 but losing the Profane Emissary. I'm not even sure what the correct answer is. Oh, I guess it's an instant speed. So you can go ahead and, okay. So it's just going to be used as a combat trick here. Yeah. Okay, so Cajun is going to take 7 damage, gain 4, so going up to 10. These will trade off. Interesting. So elmikkino is actually still very much in the game, but it's not looking great. They pretty much need to rip a couple more big draws off of these. Okay, so that's resolved. Yeah, this would be 7 minus 4. Yeah. Okay. Oof. Alright, so Cajun really needs to draw something that can actually stop this. Ooh, okay, that is not a good draw. I suppose Cajun can actually conjure the the Withering Husk though. That's really Cajun's only option, and it's a good play. You can conjure Withering Husk, discard a land, or discard the Prying Inquiry, whatever you want to do. And yeah, so Cajun's gonna go for that. Seems like it. All right. So there's the Conjure. I guess Cajun's deciding what to discard. If I were him, I would go for the Prying Inquiry, discarding. I don't think this card's ever going to be useful. Okay. Well, I mean, Wing Descent is a fine draw, I guess. elmikkino's down to 1. But this is good enough. This will take out the 3/2. It'll probably stabilize you for a couple more turns. You can even cast Prying Inquiry right now if you want to cycle next turn. I mean, I doubt elmikkino's ever going to have another card in their hand anyway. Okay, just thinking about it. How much does Wing Descent cost? There's 1 dragon in play, 2 dragons in graveyard. Yeah, it costs 1. I guess Cajun's still debating whether casting Prying Inquiry is worth it or not. It looks like Cajun's going to go for it. Yeah, okay. Basically just 4 mana, pay 1 life cycle. Not great, but you know, you take what you can get. Okay. So elmikkino untap, upkeep. This high priority is taken down. Yeah, Bogborn Charger is not going to get it done, unfortunately. I mean, you can run it out, and it means Storin Figurant's going to attack for 2. I guess Cajun's not totally out of the woods. I mean, this does mean that like an Umbrado off the top will just randomly kill, you know. So like, actually, are there any Umbrados left in the deck? I think there's 1. Yeah, there's 1 Umbrado left in the deck. Because Cajun's going to run out the Wing Descent, targeting the Iron Eyes. Solid draw there. Cajun's down to 6. Okay, so this is definitely a little dicey. But Cajun can definitely win the game off the right draw. Tyrant Toppler. Okay, so this is not castable right now. So Cajun has to take another crack with the clue and see if there's anything else that he can draw. I think you crack. You tap these 2 lands. Pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Oh. Cajun rips the sweeper off the top. Yeah, that'll do it. Oof. Okay. I mean, elmikkino can still definitely win, but that is a pretty big nail in the coffin, I think. It's probably going to be at least 2 turns before elmikkino can pull out another win, or like can threaten to win at all. And by that point, I think it's pretty likely that Cajun will have some kind of way to get his dragons onto the board. Okay, Bonded Battle is a totally dead draw. Oof, yeah. That Violent Collapse rip was chef's kiss. Especially since it was the only other copy of Violent Collapse in the deck. Okay, so Cajun draws Wayfarer's Shrine. I think Cajun may just be going for the hard cast Tyrant Toppler to win. That is the only thing Cajun can really do here, is just play the Wayfarer's Shrine. I mean, it does mean like the number of cards in your deck that wins you the game next turn goes up by a lot. High Prairies are dead. Hostile Dunes is a random draw. Yeah, I mean, elmikkino's playing this out, but I think the game's basically over. Okay, so there's the draw. Flooded Depths should be lethal. Cajun can now win the game by hard casting Tyrant Toppler. I think you should have the lands to fetch in this deck, right? You can get a Flooded Morass and you can get a Mountain. Yeah. Just hard. You won the game. Just hard cast Tyrant Toppler. Yeah, Cajun's paying. I guess Cajun's worried about paying life to do this. But I think elmikkino isn't running any instant speed burn. I could be wrong. Yeah, Scorch is sorcery speed. None of these other cards are instant speed. So yeah, you're in the clear. You're in the clear. I guess maybe in the sideboard. Smoldering Pages. No. Yeah. Cajun's playing the Flooded Depths, fetching. And boom. The hardcast Tyrant Toppler. What a game, honestly. That was something else. I think Cajun definitely got pretty lucky with those draws. But I think Both players played it well. I'm not sure if taking the land was 100% the right call on elmikkino's part. Maybe you want to just get a Scorch instead, because there were several Scorches in there. Although I think on average, Scorch did about the same amount of damage as playing that Scorn Figurant there would have, so I think that's probably still fine. Cajun's hand is interesting. I feel like this hand becomes amazing with one Wheat from Chaff, but since it doesn't have a Wheat from Chaff, you really risk getting run down, especially since you're on the draw. I actually don't know about this keep. I feel like this keep loses to the majority of elmikkino's opening plays. We're seeing Eternal and Abandoned Cairn into Madcap Mercenary, yeah? Yeah, I'm very not high on Cajun's keep here. Oof, Serena is not a good draw at all. This hand really needs like a Wheat from Chaff to do anything. Yeah, I mean, all Cajun can really do here is just play Flooded Depths and pass, unfortunately. And it's back to elmikkino. The fact that Bond of Battle can actually haste out and Unbridled Goliath too? Actually, it can't. Never mind. I'm lying. So Unbridled Goliath is going to come down as a 5/5 here. Madcap's going to attack for 3. I think... I mean, I don't know. Maybe elmikkino is reconsidering casting the Unbridled Goliath. Okay, so there's attack for 3. And boom, there is the big boy. Currently at 5/5. Now, okay, let's see what Cajun draws. Ooh, Winged Descent is a good draw. The problem is that Cajun actually doesn't have a way to cast it right now, which means that it's not going to be castable until next turn. So we're going to see a fetch off the Flooded Depths, probably getting a Dominion, I think. Is there a reason to get another land? I mean, if you're getting a Dominion, like, you might as well just do that at instant speed. And Cajun's getting a Flooded Morass. Okay, so Cajun wants to hold up some kind of, like, pretend there's some kind of interaction. I don't know what that would be, per se. I think the most likely interaction is probably... I don't even know. Like, negate? I guess Cajun's faking a negate. Yeah. That's what's happening right now. Okay. I kind of respect it. So you saw a turn 1 Mountain, followed by a Scorch to the face. Is this lethal? Wait, this is... If you cast this, it's a 13/13... Yeah. Oh my god. This is why I think Cajun just couldn't afford to keep that hand. Like, the hand is good with the Wheat from Chaff, but I think it's just too risky to keep that otherwise. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, elmikkino's deck is very, very scary. I feel like the package of cards it works so well together, and it's so brutal in how it ends the game quickly if you don't have interaction. So I think it's definitely a pretty good choice for this GP. With the introduction of Alara, a lot of players are playing pretty greedy multicolor decks that are looking to, like, play all these sweet, expensive multicolor cards, and sometimes you just get killed on turn 3. Like, that's... Oof, that is again, absolutely brutal. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this deck can adapt throughout the rest of the GP. And I'll see it. I hope I don't have to face it, because it looks very scary. But anyway, with that, that's going to be it for me. Until next time, this is Dodger, and I'll see you later.